Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and this is Get Ready With Me Character Edition, and today's winner is Cyno. Now let's check my arsenal. I got my e.l.f. primer, my Fenty Beauty foundation, my e.l.f. concealer, and I have 2 palettes from Juvia's Place. Now let's get into it. Of course, we are starting off with our primer, and as Miss NikkieTutorials love to say, not to prime is a crime. And I'm definitely going to tag her below because I love her videos. And chill on me. I just had to try it. And it fucking works. It works. And next, I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty foundation. And I'm going to go for I'm going to do a medium coverage base. I'm not going to go too heavy on the foundation, but just to have that base canvas and everything is the same color. As you can see, I have some blemishes and I would just like for that stuff to be covered. And also, I'm a little bit curious about this. So with my e.l.f. concealer, it's a little bit lighter and I'm tapping into learning how to do cut creases. And because I don't have eyeshadow primer just yet, I saw that you can use concealer. And so today I'm just going to play around with it and I'm going to use concealer as my base for my eyeshadow, and I'm going to see how that goes. I was kind of shocked about how it was, and I wasn't quite sure if this was the right thing to do. But I did take what would be like a concealing brush and I started to use that across my eyelid. And all of my brushes here, they are freshly washed and I have sat them out on napkins to dry. I forgot to pat the water out. So as we see, I'm fighting for my life because the concealer starts to run into my eye. I'm going to give that another go after I dried off all of my brushes because a recap of that will be no fun. And here I'm just blending out the concealer. I ain't gonna fake, I was kind of questioning it, but I decided to trust the process. Even though I was definitely like, what's happening? And so I used my sponge to blend out the edges so that way it's not just like that blunt difference between the concealer and my skin color. And after I do that, I go into the silver palette of the Juvia's Place and I use the cool silver shade on like my inner corner of my eye, and I bring it all the way up to cover where the concealer is as a base. Next, I go into the Festivals palette of the Juvia's Place and I pick out this blue turquoise color. Now, I do know that Cyno's color is more of a darker blue, almost violet blue in a sense, but I do not have any colors that resembles that. So as of right now, I'm just rocking with blue. But in all honesty, blue is blue. At least for now. And I'm going to take that blue and I'm just going to put it where the silver ends, and I'm going to take it all the way to my outer corner. So I'm almost like finishing my eye with that blue. And then next I take the black color that's in that same palette and I'm going to only put it on like the outer corner. And that way it gives that like smoky look, because I don't know if y'all know or see, but Cyno's eyes are really like focused, almost intimidating. And so I wanted to have like a cute look with that like focus look, that like eye catching or attention catching eyes basically. And don't question it, I just had another fucking moment and decided to put it on my nose. I don't know why, I don't know. But I did end up highlighting like my T-zone with that concealer, so it's not all bad. And then next, after I get done with that, now it's time to use my eyeliner. And first I'm doing my waterline because again, I want to have attention grabbing eyes. I want my eyes to like pop out. I want the colors to pop and I want my eyes to pop. And after I do that, I grab a Q-tip because some eyeshadow, it didn't set or it wasn't packed in. It was kind of loose. And so some of it got knocked down and it was like kind of shimmery on my face. And then afterwards I just used a Q-tip and I shaped my eyeshadows how I wanted it to be, so that way it wasn't uneven or different. And next I'm doing my wings, my eyeliner wings, and normally I try to go for a cat look when I do my eyeliner, but I didn't want to do that for Cyno, so I decided to like draw my wings outward instead of like more up. Either way, it's still attention grabbing, but it's just a different look. It makes your eyes more elongated rather than sultry or focused. And here's my handy dandy little plastic sheet. And don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. But in order to get that color on my lips, I decided to use that same blue that I used for my eyeshadow, and I chiseled it a little bit onto the plastic sheet, and then I used a light colored or nude colored lipstick, and now I'm mixing those two so that way I get that same shade of blue that I got on my eyes on my lips. And now that we have a color match, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my lips with that. And with the lipstick that I used, it has a matte finish and it's quick drying, so I was trying to move fast, but I wasn't moving fast enough. So after I finished putting the blue on my lips, I decided to grab my handy dandy outline, and I used the dark outline for it. And then afterwards I put a little bit of like gloss on it so that way it has some depth to it. Off camera, I had did the, I would call it like Anubis, but there's some Anubis resembling symbols that he has like either on his armor or on his head mask. So I decided to use that like on my face so that way it kind of like brings it together as that character itself, because just going out in public you wouldn't know. So I decided to go ahead and do that. These are the finished looks, and if you love this look yourself, comment down below, or if you have any other ideas for characters for me to try out myself, comment down below what you would like to see me try on. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.